Okay, so now we are going to talk about transitions. Typically, when you're editing, you just make a straight cut like this. Just goes from one clip and just cuts directly to the next clip. Well, sometimes you want to put a transition on that is not a straight cut. The most common transition you're going to find is a dissolve. And a dissolve just basically slowly fades or dissolves from one clip to the next. This would be an example of a dissolve. This would be an example of a cube spin. This would be an example of a page peel. Okay, so you get the idea. There are different transitions that you can do. They can be overdone, obviously, but you are going to need to know how to do them, especially the dissolve. The easiest way, I think, to do it is to come over here to your tabs, and you'll see there's this effects tab right over here, right toward the end of your row of tabs here. If you look over here, there's a folder called Video Transitions. Just hit the arrow or double click it to open it up, and you will see that you have folders of different types of transitions: 3D motion, dissolves, an iris, page peel, yada yada yada. If you open up the dissolve folder, you're going to see one called a cross dissolve, and you'll notice it's got a blue box around it. That means that it is the one that is connected to your shortcut button on your keyboard for doing an instant cross dissolve, and I'll show you how to do that. But essentially, let's say that you had these two clips, and instead of doing a straight cut, you want to do a dissolve. You're going to grab that little square there, click and hold, drag it onto this little edit point right here, and let go, and you're going to see that it now does a dissolve instead of a cut. So everything is preset to a 1 second dissolve. That's 30 frames, 1 second. And so that's what it's going to do. It's going to dissolve over the period of 1 second. Now you can make these longer or shorter. If you zoom down on it, it makes it a lot easier. That's probably too far. But if you want to make it longer or shorter, you can hover over the edge, either edge of the cross dissolve. You can click and you can pull it, which will make it longer. Or you can take it and make it really fast if you wanted to make it short. So that makes it fast. You can also double click right here on the side of it, and it opens up a little window like this. You can set the duration. Say you wanted it to be a 15 frame dissolve, which is half a second. Hit OK, and it just sets it for a half-second dissolve. All of these transitions are like that. You can adjust them like that. Now, if you are a shortcut person and you like the idea of not having to go over here and drag them on there and look them up, look that cross dissolve up, you can just put a little click on that edit line and hit Command D, and that will put a cross dissolve on there like that. Now you can also use a cross dissolve for fading in from black or fading to black. If you click on this clip, you can hit Command D and it will put one on there. You can also just, I'll undo that. You can also drag one over here and place it on there. Command D on this particular clip will just put it on the end. You can see with the cross dissolve, it will fade from black up into the scene. This one will fade to black. Okay, so now let's say that you don't want a cross dissolve. You want let's say a cube spin. So you're going to grab this cube spin. You're going to set it right there on that little edit point. You're going to get a red line that says you need to render this, but I don't think you do. You're probably just showing you that. That would be a cube spin. Just different things. Page peels are in here. An iris. Homer Simpson likes a star iris. I don't know anybody else that does. A push is something that I believe it just pushes it out of the way like that. So you'll see there's all kinds of different stuff. A cross zoom. And you can make them go fast or slow or whatever you want to do. So those are transitions. So let's go back here. I'm going to hit Command D and put another dissolve on there. When you listen to this, you'll notice that the video dissolved, but the audio just is still a straight cut. And I turned the audio down for some reason. So So that sounds kind of abrupt, right? It just doesn't sound smooth because you're doing a dissolve there. So one thing you can do is come over here to the audio transitions, and they're essentially the same thing. If you look inside there, you'll see a crossfade folder. You can see constant power, constant gain, exponential fade. I'm not exactly sure what that one is, but if you put on this little constant power here or the constant gain, either one, you're going to hear that audio now is dissolving from one to the other. And it just kind of smooths things out a little bit. That's the kind of thing that a lot of pro editors will do. Some pro editors will put those little dissolves on every single cut they make. Even if it's just a 10-frame audio dissolve, they'll put it on there because they don't want that abrupt sound that throws you off. So again, you can make these longer or shorter, whatever you want to do, but it's all on how you want to do it. If you think it sounds okay without that, then there's really no need to do that. But sometimes you'll notice that it's fairly abrupt, and you're going to want to put on an audio transition to make it sound smoother like that. Now you'll notice over here that there are also video effects. Well, these are a lot of different things. There's a color correction tool in here. You can see here's a blur and a sharpen folder. Image control is going to have black and white ability to it. If you drop this on here, it's going to turn it black and white. There are a lot of things that you can do with all these folders. I don't know what all of these are, but there's a ton of stuff you can do. Let's say that you wanted to, well, let's pick out, we're going to emboss this, make it look really weird. Okay, so we've just put a goofy filter on there called emboss. You can adjust the parameters of that filter that you just put on there. Essentially, you just double click it and it brings this clip up into here. And you'll see a tab called Effect Controls. So that's where you're going to find this emboss filter. So I double clicked it to put it up into here and went to Effect Controls. Now here's emboss. Now you can see that's got direction, relief, contrast, and blend. I have no idea what most of this is, but you can see you can just adjust and do all kinds of weird stuff with it and make it look like a bad dream or something, or I don't know. You can do all kinds of different stuff. A lot of this is just, if you want to just go through it and just play with it till it looks like what you want, it's good enough. So if you do not want it on there, just go through, click on it, delete it, and it's back to your normal clip. So that's how all of these filters work, these video filters. The one you're going to use a lot probably would be color correction. We might do a whole tutorial just on how to do color correction. You won't use these all the time, but every so often you'll find that they're kind of nice to have. So that's how you do transitions, both video and audio, and some video effects.